Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel of your buddy Choppadong, brought to you by the one, the only DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for everything daily fantasy sports. When we're talking baseball, basketball, football, hockey, MMA, NASCAR, doesn't matter. We've got you covered with content, tools, and coaching designed to make you a better player starting right now. We have kicked this off and we've taken this thing into another level, and it's becoming very, very popular very, very quickly. We have established an MLB Learning League. And yes, this is going out to the public, but I'm actually going to deviate from the normal game plan today of just running through some numbers and showing you where the better bats are and such, because not because I want to keep my secrets to the Learning League. I'm going to share my thoughts with all of my VIPs, probably with a private VIP video going through those things. But what I wanted to show everybody else is how committed we are as a community, and myself specifically, towards making you a better player. I will die on the hill to make people a better player. Yes, I benefit financially from teaching you how to, maybe get better, but I also get a big kick out of it. I really enjoy the guys giving the shout outs and saying, hey man, thanks for your help, or hey, what do you think about this? Not necessarily what do you think about this lineup before lock, because we don't know. But in a lot of cases, what do you think about this lineup after lock or after the day? And that's what the Learning League is focused on. It's already filled for today. We started it at about, 15 people or so. The next day went to 25, and yesterday or today, I guess we're at 40, and it filled within minutes apparently today. So we're going to build this league up as big as we can possibly get it. It's free to VIPs. It's a private link, and we're just going to go in and we're going to try and establish where you want to build your lineups. Are you a cash game builder and you just want to kind of get in the top half? Or are you somebody who wants to push up some leagues and get into the top third or top 20%? And then, of course, are you a GPP player that's really trying to go, way into the top 1%, because that's the barrier that you need to be paying attention to for GPPs. Because a 1% lineup, a top 1% lineup, can win a 100-man league and generally trigger 25 times your buy-in on a FanDuel or something like that. But if you produce one of those top 1% lineups in the GPP realm, you're going to get somewhere between 6 and 8x, 6 and 8 times your buy-in, maybe 10 times if you're lucky. I'm going to win a lot more 100-man leagues than I am 3,000-person tournaments. Of course, there's a trade-off, because you want to win the 3,000-person tournament and then go way above the 25 times return into 50, 100, 200, 300 times, even more the rate of return. I get that. But what we should be focused on is the contests that we're going to win the most often, and that's where the bulk of our daily budget should go. In cash games, leagues, whatever, and generating those multipliers. Where we're building a bankroll, we're cashing as often as we possibly can as players, and then we're still exposed a little bit to taking those bigger lottery ticket shots at the big money. That's fine. If we structure it smartly, that's fine. And that's what we're trying to teach these guys to do with the Learning League, is we're going to build our best lineups. We're going to see where we typically fall when we build our lineups. If we're not in the top half consistently, then we should try and build to getting in the top half. And we shouldn't be playing a whole lot of big buy-in tournaments and spending a whole bunch of money until we get to that point, until we've learned the fundamentals of the game and built to a point where we're getting consistently in the top half of that league with some pretty tough competition in that Learning League, because it's free and it's VIP only. But also, if you're taking the next step and you're getting into the top, say, 30% or the top quarter of the contest, whatever size it may be, then you're starting to get to where you can start playing in some leagues pretty well and expect, to have a pretty good rate of return on those leagues over a larger sample, like a month or 2 months or whatever. And then, of course, if you're getting into the top, say, 2 or 3 spots, we've got a 40-man league today. If you finish in the top 1 or 2 spots, you're kind of getting into that top 3% area, top 2% area, and now you're starting to talk about taking down some of those bigger leagues. And nobody's going to do that really all that consistently, getting up there into the winning, but people will be in the top half a lot. People will be in the top quarter a lot. More people, some more than others, and those are the people that we want to be learning from. Those are the people that when we're questioning lineups, these are the people that we want to be kind of following their trains of thought, because we're all going to get better accordingly. So if you haven't ever followed me before, obviously out on Twitter at Choppadong, I tweet all of our free content out there all of the time. I'm interacting constantly with people, at least as best I can. We're actually, a friend and I are talking back and forth with former catcher Benji Molina this afternoon, and we're trying to, tease him and heckle him a little bit. Being that I'm a St. Louis guy, I love Yachty, and Benji being his brother is all about sharing the Yachty love. So we kind of get to go back and forth a little bit sometimes and have a little bit of fun there. But if you haven't checked out the Army content, the full count, the MLB breakdown, certainly worth a read to run through here and look at each game-by-game breakdown with 5-star and 4-star plays. Very easy to get your head started in the right direction. Of course, you've seen me go through the research station where I will point out the pitchers I like and the pitchers I don't like. Therefore, I like their bats instead of the opposing team, and then how I find the bats within those offenses. But let's talk a little bit more about finding some of those contests inside the contest selection idea is, because I got asked the question, hey, if I'm going to be laddering, using the ladder technique in baseball, what contests on DraftKings are typically good for the ladder? Well, the answer is all of them. But I think it's important periodically, and I haven't done it for a long time, but periodically to show you what I'm talking about. So there are a couple of quick ways to do this. Number one, go into the strategy section at dfsarmy.com. You come up here out of the screen's view, but you go to the MLB tab, you drop down all of those articles, and you can come down into the strategy section. We also have a strategy tab that does the same thing, and a lot of this content is still free. Feel free to poke through. You're going to have to go back in some cases, several pages back to find some of the stuff we wrote a long time ago. This Dinks and Dunks quick hitting video series has a lot of good stuff in it. A lot of these articles I wrote myself, before becoming, more of an editor on the website. But this type of stuff is timeless strategy in a lot of cases. And the ladder system will absolutely revolutionize the way you think about the game. If you haven't seen it yet, it's going on 3 years old or so, but it has revolutionized the way a lot of people think. 7 quick tips, 10 quick tips, whatever, all these picking pitchers in 15 minutes or less. All of these little videos and these little articles are designed to help you become a better player. If we scroll down a little bit more, this fundamentally focused is pretty good too. A lot of these are incomplete because I got pulled to different assignments, but still worth it. Still worth going through and then coming to me with all sorts of questions. It's a lot of what we do. This weather article is great too. I'm trying to find Ladder System 2.0 because one of our members went through and revolutionized my version of it, and it should be in here. Here it is. I would recommend reading that. What's changed with the ladder? How is it? It's a very wide, broad concept of building contests. If I go into the other one here, I'll try and click it open really, really quick and see if I can't. I hopefully have a screenshot of an old ladder sweep in there that shows you how to build these contests and how to attack them. Let's see if I can scroll down here. I mean, the idea is building with a very, very base, a big bulk of your play in head-to-heads, 50-50s, or double-up type contests. And then a smaller portion goes to triple-ups, a smaller portion quintuple-ups, and a smaller portion 100-man leagues or small GPPs, things like that. Because the idea is if you build a big base of your pyramid with those double-ups, let's say you're putting a $10 ladder together, then $5 of it should be in the double-up. Why? Or the 50-50 types. Why? Because if you just hit those, then $5 becomes $10 and you've paid for your entire ladder. You're free. All you got to do is hit the top 50% of the field tonight and you're free. You're playing on house money for the rest of the way. If your lineup does better and climbs into the triple ups, you unlock some profit, quintuple up, more profit, 100-man league, more profit. It's just a very, very simple concept. I want to see if I can find, there's the ladder sweep. I'll see if I can blow this up for us. Hope it gets big enough that we can actually see it. Boy, did that jump and disappear. Okay, the idea here, if you're looking at the money lines in your contest, see, you've got a $5 double up here. Well, $2, $2. So 2 and 2 is 4. There might be another one down in here. But once you cross this line, this is where the lineup finished, when I produced this screenshot. And you can see it didn't take a big score to do it. But it produced the 50-50s, which unlocked $8 of the 10, right? And then this 2, it crossed over this line, which this line at 90, 89, 90, for 50-50, roughly. And then 96, a little bit higher for the triple up. And that unlocked once the lineup, it barely crossed that one. Got here to the $6 mark. It did not cross the quintuple up line. It did not cross the 100-player or the 100-man league line. Okay, so what? I broke even on this and profited a little bit based on the triple up. If I'd crossed this line and this line, we'd call it a ladder sweep where it cashed in everything. And generally speaking, it's going to return, 3 to 4x the size of your ladder. If it's a $10 ladder, 30 to 40 bucks. If it's a $100 ladder, $300 to $400. But that's just the way we do things. You can do it here on Draftkings as well, with a lot of different concepts. And there's some philosophy in this article for you as well. So let me scroll this back down just a little bit. Need to update that because it's not a 10% discount, it's a 20% discount. But let's jump into Draftkings here really quick. Yep, that contest is full, 40 out of 40 filled. Let's run into the lobby really quick. Let's find some baseball contests. And let's go cruise in the lobby. I don't know what slate it is you want to play. We'll start with one of the bigger ones. Let's do the 9-game slate tonight. And it works for tiers, and it works even for showdown if the contest selection is there. If there's a variety of selection there. We sort off by entry fee. You can come down here, get down into, I don't know, the $1, $2 range. And if I was building a ladder, what I'm trying to do, if I can, actually, I probably need to show you based on the screenshot again. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to close the gap with these money lines here. I don't want this to be my money line and then nothing all the way until here. Because the gap between here and here is large. There's a whole lot of room in here you can finish and not earn any additional money. So you fill it in with these contests that get in the middle somewhere, and that's when we're going to start paying attention to a few percentage breakpoints. I talk about how you need to build your lineup to the strength of either the top half of the field or the top 30% of the field or the top 20% or the top 10%, top 5%, top 1%. All you need to do to figure out how to close this gap is just picture mentally this ladder, how as I climb the ladder, the money lines get harder and harder to hit. But as long as I've filled in these gaps in between, I'm always close to crossing another line if my lineup does just a little bit more for me. And that's the idea until I get all the way up to where I'm winning contests. I've anchored myself with the amount of double ups and 50-50s, head-to-heads, whatever, that will produce a winner. But then I've started to close those gaps. So what typical contests would be looking for? Well, top half, of course, is your double ups. And if the double up, okay, so 62 places, there's 62 people in this tournament, right? How many people are paid? 27. So 27 divided by 62. Wow, that's a little stiff. 43.5%. You have to beat, what is that? Would that be 64% of the world mostly? You've got to get into the top 43.5% of the world, and then you cash double. It used to be 45%. So obviously, these numbers have changed over the past couple of years to where the house is taking a little bit more rake. They're paying less. They're not paying more of a percentage. They're just paying less of the total prize money out because they're keeping a little bit more of it for themselves. That's why I don't like the double ups. The 50-50s are still true 50-50s. The difference between a 50-50 and a double up, though, is that the 50-50s are typically not guaranteed. The double ups will run no matter what. So you can get in them at the last minute of a slate, and if you can find a couple of spots, sometimes you do get a little bit of that overlay, which is the spots that didn't fill, because it's still going to pay the top 27 of these if 58 guys are in it or 62 are in it. So those last 4 spots makes it a little bit easier to cash because getting into the top 27 of 58 is better than the top 27 of 62. In fact, we could show that really quick too. Let's say it was 58, so 27 divided by 58. Now all of a sudden I've just got to get into the top 46% instead of the top 43.5%. See how that works? That 3% is considered your overlay in this contest. Now, these will fill, but when you see a situation like that, these double ups are guaranteed. The triple ups are guaranteed, like a 3-man league is not, but a triple up and a 3-man league are the same thing. When I'm looking here at the triple ups here, 9th out of 31 plays or pays. So 9 divided by 31. Top 29%. I've got to get into the top 29% of the world to get triple my money. Okay? Now, I would prefer larger contest sizes than 31 players. I would prefer 150 players. if I could find it. These days you don't get offered that too terribly often. There's a $62 one. I would jump on that one. Or a 62 man, 62 person. I would jump on that one. And I don't know what that one pays top 18. It's going to be the same rough percentage. 18 divided by 62. You know, still the same 29%. So I've got to build a top 45% lineup. Well, 50% for a 50-50, top 45% or 43% lineup for a double up, a top 29% lineup for a triple up. But you can see there's not much more distance to go between a top, 43% lineup and a top 29% lineup. You're starting to close those money lines down, those gaps down. Let's do the quintuple up here really quick. 57 players pays top 10. So 10 divided by 57, top 17.5%. So yeah, GPPs pay better. You can find GPPs that pay 20%, 22%, but no GPP pays the top 17% 5 times your money. They all min cash still. So this is going to give you a little bit better return when you do hit the cash. I mean, as long as you don't win the thing. If you win the thing, you could have maybe gone deeper into a GPP. So let's start to figure that stuff out. But so these are the layers that I will construct. Now, these are of the multiplier types. I will use 50-50s, head-to-heads if I was running a lot of volume, but I like the ones that pay lump sums instead of the things that give me a little bit of money back because it's just better leverage on a little bit smaller budget, typically anyway. When I scroll down here into these leagues, then of course, a 1 out of 3, a top third lineup is a top 33% lineup. They're going to be more volatile because you're not going to have the number of players in there you're competing with. One guy beats you in this league and it's critical. One guy beats you in a triple up and it's not critical. So I'm going to have a little bit more margin for error in the other one. It doesn't mean that the money line is lower because sometimes you're going to get very lucky here and 2 of the other guys with you produced really crappy lineups and your score was lower than the typical triple up money line, but you won it anyway. And some nights you're going to get screwed because you're going to have a great lineup and you're just going to get beat by a guy. So they're a lot more boom or bust, a lot more volatile. But over the long haul, if we played 1,000 3-man leagues and 1,000 triple up contests, it's largely going to be the same. Once you use volume to smooth out that variance, it's going to be the same. The 5-man leagues are also that way. But sometimes you can find a 3-man league that pays the top 2. Sometimes you can find things like 7-man leagues that pay the top 2. So what kind of a lineup do I need? 2 divided by 7, 28%. So now we're in between. It's not going to pay a flat fee like a guaranteed double your money or a guaranteed triple your money. It's going to stagger it. It's going to pay, $1.89 to second and $4.41 to first. But a top 28% lineup, a little bit stronger than a 5 or a 3-man or triple up. But if I played a 3-man league, it'd be 33%. This is a little bit stronger than that. So sorry if I'm confusing you, but if you listen to this back a few times, it'll probably start to make some sense. Can't open that one up at lock. Typical 10-man league is going to pay a top 3 places. So it's straight up top 30%, 20%, 10% lineup. If you produce a top 10% lineup, you've got a good shot at winning it. It only pays you 5 times your money as opposed to a quintuple up, which, see, this I got to produce top 10% to win. A quintuple up top, what we say, 18% to win, 17.5% to win. So I've got a shot at winning $5 in this, and I've also got more margin for error down here than placing second and getting a little bit of money and third and getting a little bit of money. So top 30% lineup here will pay something. 20% is okay. First, is only 5x for beating 10 people, as opposed to, a 10% lineup would beat even a quintuple up and pay, 5x for even lesser, a little bit less of a lineup. But you got to take some good with the bad. And some of the trade-off is it pays the top 3 spots instead of just, flat across the board, cross this line and get paid. Everybody gets paid the same. A little bit of incentive there to win, but that's how a 10-man league works. What's this 15-man league? Pays top 5, so that's a third, right? Of course, it's different. You don't even get 5 times your money back for beating 15 people, which is harder to beat than 10 people. But again, you're sacrificing this top dollar down here for getting paid 4th and 5th place as opposed to just top 3 places. So these are all great to ladder, but you've got to do a little bit of the math to figure out, okay, out of the 16, that's a winner take all. No money for second place. I wouldn't play these. I don't play these in ladders. These are sucker bets. This is 16 dudes trying to win $14 when second place finishes out of it by about a half a point and he gets nothing. That's crap. I don't need that crap. Some people like them though. Here's one that pays top 4 instead of just top 3. So it's not going to be quite the $10 to first place because it's going to pull some money out for the prize pool. But top 4, that's top 20% of a 20 player. If I produce a top 20% lineup, I should cash in this contest. If I produce a top 10% lineup, it would have won a 10-man league. Gets a little bit more money here, $5.40, but it has a little bit more room for upside in that I can win $7 for first place, a top 5% lineup. I don't care what the scores are. I care about where my lineup finishes in the percentage of the players that I'm playing. And I'm just trying to gauge, and that's what the Learning League's going to go through. I'm just trying to gauge, where do I typically finish? What types of lineups, how good a player am I? Where do I typically finish? And then I'm going to find those contests that pay that position, and I'm going to throw most of my money in those. And then as I get better and I improve, then I'll start moving up. So top 3 out of 25, what percentage does that take? 12%. So you've got to be in the top 12% of the world to have a shot at cashing this thing. So if you're typically producing top 30% lineups, you don't want to be in this contest. I mean, you can, and you can get lucky, and you can beat 25 people. It's not that hard to do. You can beat it with a very cash-safe, chalky type of lineup. But generally speaking, this top 12% is going to pay, it's going to pay a little bit better as you climb. 1 out of 25, was that a 1/4 or whatever? So a 4%, top 4% lineup pays you $11 on the dollar, or 11x. Not terrible. I don't consider these, I usually just pay attention to what it pays. And that's the first line I want to cross. And that's why I'm looking at the triple ups and the quintuple ups and all that kind of stuff. But really and truly, any of these contests work. If we scroll up here, well, there's a 100-man league. This will pay top 20 on Draftkings. Only pays top 12 on FanDuel. But it only pays $13.50 to first place too, as opposed to $25 because it's paying all of these guys down here. So you have to make up your mind as to what you want to chase, if that makes sense to you. These are 50-50s. This is a winner take all. No thanks. Now you get into these tournaments, and you've seen me do this before. Satellites are very, very top heavy. These days, so are the GPPs. I guess because everybody just loves trying to win the big dollar. But if I play in the daily dollar here, 3,500 people. That's a big leap from a 100-man league to a 3,500-man league. I would like to find something that bridges the gap. Maybe it will do it with the percentages. So 819th divided by 3567, 23%. So it pays better than some of the contests that we saw at the very, very bottom. Of course, by the sheer number of lineups in it, it's going to pay well at the top. This might be the type of contest you want to chase. But now let's do a little bit of other analysis, and let's see where the top third is. So what's 3567? Well, not third, but 0.295, or was it 290? So 1,034th place. Where's that? That pays, where should we be in the top 29? It's a triple up. So 1034 obviously doesn't even get into the money here. 3567 divided by, or multiplied by 17.5. That was the quintuple up. 624th is a min cash. Not even. It's not even a min cash. It's not even a double your money min cash. It's a, here's 50 cents. So this 624th position is the top 17.5%, which would trigger a quintuple up. Instead of 50 cents, I would get back $5. I would profit $4 as opposed to profiting 50 cents. For the same score, the same lineup. Which tournament would you rather be in? Which one are you going to hit more often? And if you hit the top 17% more often than you hit the top, 1%, how often are you going, would you rather trigger a $5 prize as opposed to a 50-cent prize? See where I'm going with this? So as we start to climb these ladders. Now, you've got a lot more potential to keep going here if you want to produce one of those lineups, but it's going to be harder and harder and harder, and you're going to do it more and more rarely. And you might not even hit this number enough to pay off the chase. That's the problem with these contests. That's why you keep them to a very, very minimized part of your budget, because they don't pan out most of the time. You have to win these things to make these things profitable most of the time. So sure, by all means, if you want to try to win this tournament, then take that lineup and put it in a 50. Build a ladder with it. Because oftentimes you're going to get to the top, let's say, top 10%. And you're going to go, oh man, top 10%, 350th position. 350th position is only $2. I only get back double my money. Right. That's why it stinks to be in this all by itself. However, if you had backed it up with 50-50s, triple ups, whatever else, you're killing it. You're killing cash games. With the same lineup, it can be a GPP build. We need to get rid of that whole mindset of GPP versus cash build one or build. No, bullshit. Build to win these GPPs and back them up with cash games. It's another thing I tell my VIPs all the time. That whole GPP versus cash thing is antiquated because back in the day, players were so stupid and they were so poor, they were so uneducated, they were so bad that they would trip all over themselves. They didn't know some of the correlation rules of stacking. They didn't know don't roster 3 of my bats against my pitcher. Don't roster my defense against my quarterback. They didn't know this stuff. So you could get into any old league and just watch guys trip all over themselves. And so for a 50-50 type of contest, you could build an incredibly safe lineup that was just the safest of the safe, and you could murder cash games. And so you wanted to take risk in GPPs. You didn't want to take risk in cash games. All these articles got written based on that, and then the game got smarter because all these articles got written about it. And all the players got smarter. A lot of them that were really, really bad players didn't redeposit, didn't come back. But most importantly, everybody got smarter, and so the game takes more upside to win now. You have to take some risk to beat cash games. So you might as well, if you're going to play for these, go for the gold and then back it up with some cash. To my knowledge, I'm one of the only people that will tell you that. Most people, I think, will still tell you need a separate cash lineup and GPP lineup. I think it's horse crap, but, whatever. Top, say 5% lineup is 170th? Top 5% lineup wins a 20-man league and gets you around $10 on the dollar. So does 175th get you $10? Nope, it gets you $3. You're leaving $7 on the table by not backing this up with cash games and leagues. We're still chasing the winner here. We're still trying to build the winner, but if I fall short and land here, I'm only getting $3 back, where if I'd have just put another $1 in a 20-man league, I'd have got $10, and I'd have been $7 ahead of this situation. Top 1%, 35th, rounded up, 36th place, right in here, $8. Like I said, about 8 times your buy-in. 6 to 8 is usually where you find yourself in the 1% lineup. And that's great. That wins the 100-man league. And on Draftkings, yes, it's only $13.50. On FanDuel, it's $25. But what you're looking at right now is when you get to this level, you've only got 35 people to beat, and you win the thing outright. The problem is the score to beat this is still a long ways away. Yes, it unlocks more and more money the way it goes. But if you beat 99% of the people in this contest, you're down here at $8. You did a great job. You built a phenomenal lineup. And you still didn't make any significant cash because it's all locked up here at the very, very top. That's why these things are a little bit of lottery tickets. And I'm not saying don't play them. I'm saying back it up with cash games. And the ladder strategy teaches you how to do that. So you need to read these articles. Very, very simple. I will put the articles in the comment section. Obviously, I'll link the articles in there. Click on them, read through them. They're both free articles. I think that it'll help you change your game. And when it helps you change your game and you want to discuss more plays and things, you need to come inside. You need to get some coaching. You need to sit down with me or the rest of the group of guys that are in my room. It's not even the baseball room, but it's my room. And come over. Let's talk bankroll management. Let's talk contest selection. Let's talk about a little bit of laddering your contests to help you build a better foundation by which you can profit. because that's really what we're all about, is we're trying to revolutionize the way we play daily fantasy sports. Any sport, any contest type, we can teach you how to build the lineups that are structured to win those types of contests, but we're also going to teach you how things have changed over the past few years, because we've been here every single day of the past few years advising players in real time, talking to them back and forth, instant message style, and explaining to them how the game's changed or how to beat the game. So jump on in here, give my link, dfsarmy.com, a click, give the coupon code CHOP a try for 20% discount off of every month you stay a member. Come inside, start talking to us today before the lineup locks. The contest for today is full, but we're going to do another one tomorrow. We'll probably do another one on Friday. And we're going to see where this learning league goes, because it seems like the guys that want the response are going to get the response. Maybe you just want to come in here and just quietly gauge how your lineups do and kind of just watch how you fall on the scoreboard. That's fine too. But if you have serious questions, I can give you serious answers. Jump inside, take a peek at us. I'll put these links to these articles in the comments as well. Take care, guys. That's just been today's. It was the hyper simple breakdown, but of course there was no breakdown. It was more about how to build the ladder and how to layer your contests on Draftkings to put yourself in a more profitable situation. Take care. We will talk to you guys very, very soon.